Hi, this is Lori.
And this is Peter.
And this is Hamilton.
And we're with Action Heroes LA, the subsidiary of Heroes Character Rental Service. Here with you know what? I need to change my title here. Excuse me, y'all.
We did it too fast.
Bling! Here with another review. This one, you've been waiting for it, or at least one person has been waiting for it.
Ip Man.
The Ip Man movies.
All right.
So I had mentioned on a previous review that I'd seen the Ip Man. Ip Man 4 was out at the time. And I thought I saw the previous ones, but I hadn't seen 4 yet. So we decided. I decided to sit down one day and watch number 4. And Peter said, I'll watch it with you. He hadn't seen any of these movies. Right. So as it turned out, we ended up watching 1 through 4 because I had only seen number 1. Not realizing. But anyway, it turned into a fun kind of movie marathon. And introducing you, I love Kung Fu movies. I have for quite a long time, but I hadn't watched any in a while. And one of the things I was happy to introduce to you is watching them in their original language rather than the English dub. Mm-hmm. So, where to start? Anybody want to start with? Well, what they're about. Ip Man is about, starring Donnie Yen, the great Donnie Yen, is about the man who trained Bruce Lee. Well, trained, because it's his story, his background. So, anybody want to chip in? Hamilton's only seen one movie.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I want to make sure that the viewers know about is that you had gotten a question.
Yeah, somebody had. I should have got the guy's name. He asked me if I had watched Ip Man 4 yet, and I said I that's what prompted me to sit down and say, you know what, let's watch this.
Because when I got the text from you, I looked and I said, "Oh, spell check must have gotten her. What is this Ip Man thing? I know that's totally wrong."
Okay.
And I'm trying to look at the keyboard. I'm saying, I don't know what it could have been. So that's why I sent you what is this? Because this is wrong.
Uh-huh.
I had never heard of it.
Oh, okay.
Although I was a big Green Hornet Bruce Lee fan, and I just call it Green Hornet because that's what it was called out here. It was Bruce Lee's TV
the Kato show, as they call it in Asia.
But there was a specific question. What did you think about the racism? Because there was a lot of racism against Chinese or anybody Asian.
Someone asked that?
Yeah, or that was part of their. What did you think about it?
I didn't remember that angle, but I mean that's a common theme in these movies, particularly among Ip Man 1. Was his origin story. He was kind of a well-to-do guy, master of Wing Chun martial arts style, and it's his story about the Japanese occupation.
You gonna break out and do some Bruce Lee for us?
This is how they practice.
Just keep a ladder nearby, whenever you just want to.
I did not see that coming. Oh my gosh. He's practicing his Wing Chun moves. He doesn't. I mean, that's what you do. You don't have the wooden dummy, the wooden Wing Chun practice. So you get a ladder and you improvise.
Yeah, who has one of those wooden Wing Chun things?
I don't even know what they call them.
I don't know, but the pegs are loose. I can help him with that.
The pegs. Hey, move.
Do a one-inch punch and knock it back. He can place. I want to say, I'd only seen Donnie Yen in Rogue One. Mm-hmm. So I mean, I'm not even too familiar with him as an actor, but I get this movie. I haven't seen any of the other Ip Man movies.
Did he play an Asian guy in
Yeah, he played one of the Asian guys in. Yeah, in Rogue One.
I don't think there's Asians in the Star
Yeah,
Wars
I don't. Yeah, I don't know.
Technically.
I mean, technically, yeah. He just happened to be one of the 2 Asian guys in the movie. If you don't count the Indian guy too, but no. Anyhow, I'm sorry.
Just to let you know, Donnie Yen played in Rogue One was the blind warrior.
Yeah.
That did the all cool ass kung fu shit. So,
but I want to say this.
There was that white guy who played the black guy. That was just.
That's Tropic Thunder, right? What are you talking about?
Oh, Rogue One.
I just wanted to say, watching this movie, I was like, I came over here and I was a little tired, and I wasn't following all the subtitles, but I get it. This movie is like a crowd pleaser in Asia for people who love kung fu movies, and it's like kind of a lighthearted film, but it's not a lighthearted story. It's a lot going on in the story, and when you were explaining it to me later, Laurie, I was like, oh wow, that's interesting. Okay, there's no just bad and good guys in the movie. It's shades of gray. Yeah, people have different motivations why they do what they do, other than just being bad.
There were bad guys, and they're always in a lot of kung fu movies. Kind of your typical. They're always either the Japanese occupying China or the white British people in Hong Kong, which always cracks me up.
But I mean, like you explained, so like
typical.
the one guy, he was like a martial arts master.
Right, he was also a Wing Chun master. He was trying to establish his own school. He was doing fights to make money. He had a kid he was responsible for, and you know, there's a lot of things about honor and being honorable in that movie. And this guy was kind of like that gray area. He needed to. His motivation was very clear. That why he kind of turned to the crime boss's side, and you know, did their bidding,
right?
You know, so he could establish himself, and then the kind of the showdown between him and Ip Man, and you know, it becomes a, you know, his lesson of honor, about honor.
Exactly, because for me, when I was watching it, I just saw,
this is Ip Man 3 that we're talking about.
Like he was just, now he's getting in the or some guy's getting out of the elevator and he's beating people up, and then
wait a minute, I thought we were talking about Ip Man 4.
I think it was Ip Man 4, to be honest.
No, we watched 3, because 3 has Mike Tyson in it.
No, 3 has Mike Tyson in it.
Yeah, this is 3.
Okay.
Because you saw 3. So let's get back to Ip Man 1. Peter, why don't you go?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, because we're doing all 4. No, not.
I want to see the other Ip Man films.
So, but Peter, what was your impression of it? Because we decided we watched number 4 first, and we watched it English dubbed. And it has the usual clunky weirdness that English dubbed martial arts movies have. It's kind of like, I like them English dubbed too, because it's like kind of goofy, cheesy, funny at the same time. So, but when we went back to number 1, there was no English dub, so we had to watch it in its original language. And you can understand the acting and everything is so much better when you watch it, you know. And the storyline's a lot more serious than what you think it is. So, so what was your...
number 4, when we watched that first, I went into it totally not knowing what it was. And I absolutely liked it. I really enjoyed it. There was a lot of this, that, and the other happen, you know, so here's what we have to do to encounter it. But I really like that, okay, he's going over to America. Yeah. To
find a school for his son.
Yeah, find a school for his son. There were circumstances that I don't really want to talk about. There were circumstances for him to go over
spoiler alerts, right? Yeah.
But in that, I really love that the tea or the lunch table.
Oh, the lunch table,
that was... Well, I had never seen anything like that before. But I knew it wasn't just martial arts. It was a will, an intensity that was going on there. One was status, one was trying to get status, one was trying to keep and uphold his thoughts, while the other one was more or less saying, "Look, I'm asking you for help. I'm totally with you on this, but I need help." And just the back and forth right there.
It's like, I understand and respect your position, but
right, exactly. And I think that's the table became a metaphor for that, and that was amazing.
Yeah.
So
it's sort of like fight scenes, but telling a story and character establishment as well. It's not just for the sake of fight scenes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And of course later there is one, but you totally understand both of them's reason, and you're just like, I want Ip Man to win, but
because he's our hero.
but I understand the other guy. To me, he just didn't understand the complete overall story. But then Ip Man didn't understand, no, you can do this, but you have to go through these steps in order to get there. And part of it is honor. And it might be my honor versus your honor. And that's why I was so glad that we went to 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
Because and that we did it in the language of the film.
The original language.
Right.
It makes a total difference, doesn't it? It's totally different movies.
Because I back when I was young, I didn't watch a lot of those movies because you can just say. And
one of the things you're like, why are the pointing and them talking? It's like, well, you got to see it in the original language because it seems so like, hey.
Yeah.
I think
and that was pretty much your suggestion. You go, because I was wondering, well, why are they doing it like
that?
Right.
The gestures don't match the inflection of the words because you're listening to the English language actors having to deliver lines that make sense to English audiences, but don't quite match the emotion that would be in the original language and stuff, and the gestures that would,
I think it helped me to watch this film with you, Laurie, because of your passion for martial arts films, Chinese martial arts films, because it made me understand and see things in a different perspective and make me want to and I want to see more. I haven't seen a lot of martial arts movies actually. Yeah, I mean, like I've only seen probably
I can show you some good
the
ones.
most well-known films, but I mean,
I
like you said, when you watch the film and it's overdubbed, they never really get into the depth of the plot.
Yeah, or the actors' performances don't come across nearly as well.
Yeah,
it really hurts the movies.
Right.
And they kind of make them cheesy, funny, goofy things.
Exactly.
And stuff like where it's like, oh, the story is a lot more serious than I thought it was.
Exactly. And I was glad to find out that there was way more going on than I understood, because I thought it was just, I was like saying, oh, this didn't make sense and that didn't make sense. But after you explained a lot of stuff, I was like, wow.
Oh no, this was going on and that, and this is what it was doing. Yeah.
And I didn't understand that, and so I was glad that I watched it with you guys, even though I was like,
you're kind of
a little
faded
out of it.
Yeah,
I want to see it again. I want to watch these films again because I've heard of Ip Man, but I didn't know anything about Ip Man. I didn't even know that he was the teacher of Bruce Lee.
So what I want to get in, what inspired us to actually go through all 4 movies, go back to 1, 2, and 3, is because we saw number 3. Mike Tyson was in it for some reason, and I just could not figure out how and why and Mike Tyson is going to fit into a
I was trying to figure out how this black
Bruce
man
Lee's
in Asia with the tattoo on his face in the 60s fit into this whole
yeah,
story.
I was like, so what do we do? Do we go to 3? Do we go? Oh, let's go through 1 and 2. I was glad I refreshed 1. I realized I hadn't seen 2 or 3 yet, so it was good. No, I think I did see 2. I think I did see 2. Now that I remember.
Yes.
So and getting to 3 now, me personally, I like how they use Mike Tyson in it. I thought they used Mike Tyson about as well as you'd be able to use Mike Tyson in a martial arts movie in a different language that he speaks.
Right.
So you guys found it a little awkward having him in here, but
I wanted to see him be more devastating with his fighting or whatever, but yeah, I mean, he's he's not a martial arts expert.
I mean, but Ip Man's the star of the movie, so
right.
They at least made it the spoiler. It was a draw.
I wanted to see Mike Tyson drop somebody with his.
What's great about these films? Well, I'll get into ultimately what's really great about these films. But so that was I was really impressed how they handled sticking him in this movie because he's not a great actor even in English. So to have him try to tackle something, and they made him say some lines in Chinese and Cantonese probably, and some lines in English, which worked for me. They didn't give him too much of a role in the movie, which worked for me. He was just there for the premiere fight. I was surprised they didn't make him the big final fight of the movie, but in the way that was smart because if they did, they would have had to use him more in the whole storyline setup of the movie, and his acting skill just couldn't have handled it.
Right.
So that's my review of Ip Man 3.
Right.
Well, you probably did the best to say that, well, this was good for Mike Tyson because of this.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have a scene where Mike Tyson had a stick of dynamite in his mouth and blew up and was out of the movie.
This must be a reference to, what was that movie he was in before?
The Hangover.
The Hangover. I've never seen The Hangover, so I don't get it.
I don't know if there's a scene like that or not.
I don't know.
And I saw that film.
I don't know.
Okay.
Is this it's not a Hangover reference.
No, I
thought you were going to say eat a baby or something like that. Or bite somebody's ear off.
No, actually, I think it would have been a better movie, just him not in it at all.
Okay, that's.
I was thinking about it like, this could be good, like Mike Tyson. It's like a video game. If you were playing a video game and Mike Tyson was the total boss.
You're
or
missing
whatever.
the point of having Mike Tyson in the movie is to have that fight scene, and that fight scene was great.
Okay, yeah.
See, that's why So you lose. They just used him a little bit enough to kind of stick him in here, so we can get that great fight scene between him and Donnie Yen.
Right.
That's the whole point of this.
Right. No.
I mean,
like I said, I'd have to see it again.
Right.
Because I wasn't connecting everything. I didn't understand what his character
what
was
his point
doing in
was.
the film.
Yeah. He was kind of the big boss, but his underlings were kind of running the main bad guys of the movie.
Like when he kept talking to that little girl, I didn't.
I think he was,
that.
He was kind of like a father figure to her.
Right.
Like the girl's mom, he was in a relationship with the mom.
Wow, that's a trick.
Yeah, I can say, okay, that's somebody. Just so
Yeah. Because I didn't get
you didn't get that. It's like, why is he talking to this?
It went over my head.
I was like, oh, that must be okay. Yeah. That's a relationship.
He'd have broke that thing.
He probably would have. So
they should have had him do that.
I just want to.
And then Yang whip his behind for breaking.
Like that Mike Tyson was. So, I liked how they used Mike Tyson in this movie. I want to quickly go back to number 2 because Ip Man number 2 I didn't enjoy as much as I did 1 and 3. I think because there's a lot of wire work. What they call
wire fu
in it, and it really one of the biggest draw is there's some really great fight choreography in these movies. It's kind of the modern, upgraded modern take on fight choreography. You're seeing some new stuff, some new exciting stuff in them. And for them to go to a lot of wire work, and it's sad because, like, I think Sammo Hung, who's also in this movie, he's a legend in martial arts cinema. You guys familiar with him?
Yeah,
he and Jackie Chan they came up together. Jackie came, Hollywood,
Right.
and became a big movie star. And Sammo Hung got a TV show for a minute.
Wait a minute.
But
Was
he
in
did
a
the.
porn
I
movie?
think.
He gotta. Pretty soon he'll be talking about what's her name, Rosie Perez.
He was, he was in a porn movie
anybody
with
whose
Rosie
name is
Perez.
Samuel Hung.
Sammo.
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 That's a different Hung.
That's,
You're thinking of someone else.
I'm sorry.
there's a kung fu movie called Dirty Ho, by the way.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. In fact, I have your
you still have my
DVD
DVD.
still. I gotta give it back to you.
God, but
That's what always happens. That's the last video that goes back to the show.
yeah, I say Hamilton still has Dirty Ho. No, but I was kind of disappointed because I think he's credited with doing the fight choreography of that film, and he's such a legend for doing fight choreography for the last 50 years of martial arts movies. To see him kind of resort to a lot of wire fu was a little disappointing,
Right.
and stuff. And so, in number 4, I have to rewatch in its original language because it was just goofy fun to me.
Right.
And probably I could take it a little more seriously and evaluate it. So I was big on 1 and 3. Anybody else? Anything
I can
I
only-
was definitely big on 1 and 4.
Okay.
Number 2 coming in right after those, but I didn't really. Anything with Mike Tyson, that his stuff could have been out, but it was in, and I was just looking. I said, okay.
Okay. Well, I will say this about number 3: the storyline is very thin. They really don't have a great reason to hang a story and to have a number 3, but they do give the characters great motivation for their arcs in this very thin story. So that's why I can see why number 3 might be rated a little less than some of the other ones. Like number 2, there's an issue with Ip Man establishing his school and the rival schools, which is very much part of, that's history, definitely in the movie, in martial arts movies, that's kind of established. There's a lot of typical stuff you see in martial arts movies in this that was I was familiar with. I also wanted to bring up what they're doing with these. Now this was Bruce Lee's instructor, and they include Bruce Lee in these movies, but kind of as mainly a cameo. He is not. It is not. They're not about Ip Man ultimately training Bruce Lee at one point or anything.
Right.
He's always just kind of on the peripheral of these films.
Right.
So they want to make Ip Man front and center, and they're kind of trying to make him this mythological Chinese hero, along the lines of Wong Fei Hong. It just seems like he's this. Because the story, they take a lot of liberties with his true story, and it's and I read later he didn't actually teach Bruce Lee directly. It was he just ran the schools, and there was another guy that actually the storyline I think of number 4, fighting the British boxer, Ip Man fighting the British boxer, was this teacher of Bruce Lee. That actually happened between the real teacher of Bruce Lee, who was kind of a disciple of Ip Man.
Well, I thought it was interesting that they made a reference to the 1-inch punch, because I always thought Bruce Lee invented that, but apparently that came from Ip Man's.
Well, according to the movie, I'd have to, it could be, actually, because and what little I know about Wing Chun, because it's a close quarters type of martial arts. It's for use. That's its philosophy, and it was invented by a woman. So. And if you've never seen Wing Chun from 1994, which is one of my favorite martial arts movies, as goofy as that movie is, it's awesome. But
I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen a lot of martial arts
but
films.
just spoiler alert, that was
Donnie Yen's in that one too.
I thought he was gonna say something crazy.
She actually was
invented
an
it.
inch and a half. Bruce Lee went to the inch. But
He took it a little. He took
little
it all the
further.
way to the 1-inch.
He put it back in the dipper and put it back down on the world. So anyway, wrapping up the Ip Man movies. That's what's going on.
Okay.
So,
You
any
guys
thoughts?
go ahead and wrap it up.
You got some practice to do.
Gotta practice.
You got to practice. Peter's got to practice his 1-inch punch now. That's Ip Man 1 through 4, which Peter and I did finally watch, and I really enjoyed them. Donnie Yen is great in them. Kind of a more serious storyline when you watch it in its actual language.
Right.
And great
watch
fight
it in
scenes.
its actual language.
Yeah, definitely.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
you want to watch it subtitled if you can.
Exactly.
Or, like I said, I enjoy the English dubbing because they're just so kind of goofy fun about it. You know?
I mean, if you love martial arts films, you gotta love the overdubs because that's a big
as
part of it,
Americans,
right?
because that's kind of our, when you were kids, that's the stuff they would show on TV on Saturday mornings or something like that.
But it's good to know that there's
like,
a deeper story than what you would normally expect.
All right, Spider-Man, what was that? So that Ip Man 1 through 4, they are on Netflix currently right now. There's an Ip Man 5 that came out last year, but since 1 through 4 were the story arc of the actual Ip Man, and I think they're introducing a new character for these, I chose not to follow through and watch that. But if anyone's seen it and if it's any good, leave some comments. Leave anything about the Ip Man movies, what you think about them in the comments, and we out.
We out.
We
out of here.
Movie. I don't know. What are you trying to crane and I forgot. Crane fighting a snake. Anyway.
You're killing me.
Oh, he's a mess.
Samuel Hung.
Sammo.